The rain hammered down like 1,000 angry fists, turning the mountain road into a treacherous river of mud and rock. In the dead of night, a deafening roar shattered the silence. The landslide had begun. Boulders the size of cars tumbled from the cliffs above, burying everything in their path. Amid the chaos, a sleek black SUV skidded off the edge, flipping once before slamming into a jagged outcrop. Inside, Elena Vargas, the iron-willed CEO of a Fortune 500 tech empire, clawed at the shattered window, her heart pounding as dirt and debris poured in like a living tomb. "Help!" she screamed, but her voice was swallowed by the storm. Little did she know, the man who would pull her from the brink was the very one she'd spent the last decade searching for, the ghost from her past who had never truly died. Alex Thompson gripped the steering wheel of his old pickup truck, his knuckles white as he navigated the winding roads home from his shift as a park ranger. The storm had come out of nowhere, fierce and unforgiving, just like the one that had upended his life 10 years ago. Beside him, his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, clutched her stuffed bear, her wide eyes reflecting the lightning flashes. "Daddy, I'm scared," she whispered, her small hand reaching for his. "It's okay, kiddo, we're almost home," Alex replied, forcing a smile. But then he heard it, a muffled cry cutting through the wind. He slammed on the brakes, his truck sliding to a halt. Peering through the sheets of rain, he spotted the wreckage, a vehicle half buried under a cascade of earth. Without a second thought, he grabbed his flashlight and emergency kit from the back. "Stay here, Lily, lock the doors, I'll be right back." "Daddy, no, it's dangerous," Lily protested, tears welling up. "I have to help, sweetheart. That's what we do, help when we can." His voice was steady, but inside, fear gnawed at him. As a single dad, every risk felt amplified. Losing Lily's mom to cancer 4 years ago had taught him how fragile life was. But he couldn't ignore a cry for help. Not after what he'd been through. Scrambling down the embankment, Alex's boots sank into the muck. The landslide had stopped, but the ground still groaned ominously, threatening to give way again. He reached the SUV, shining his light inside. A woman was trapped, her legs pinned under the dashboard, blood trickling from a gash on her forehead. She was conscious, barely, her dark eyes locking onto his with a mix of terror and desperation. "Hold on, I'm getting you out," Alex shouted over the roar of the rain. He pried open the door with a crowbar from his kit, the metal screeching in protest. As he worked, memories flooded back unbidden, the car accident from a decade ago, the one that had stolen his future. He'd been driving with his fiancée, Elena, when a drunk driver swerved into them. The impact was catastrophic. He'd woken up in the hospital weeks later, scarred and alone, told that Elena hadn't made it. Devastated, he'd retreated to this quiet mountain town, rebuilding his life piece by piece. He met Sarah, married her in a whirlwind of grief-fueled hope, and they had Lily. But Sarah's illness had taken her too soon, leaving Alex to raise their daughter alone. He was a survivor, but survival came at a cost, nights haunted by what-ifs, days filled with the quiet ache of loss. The woman gasped as Alex cleared the debris around her. "My name's Elena," she managed, her voice weak but resolute. "Please, I can't feel my legs." "Elena," Alex froze for a split second, the name hitting him like a thunderclap. It couldn't be his Elena. No, impossible. He shook it off, focusing on the task. "I'm Alex. Stay with me. I'm a ranger. I know what I'm doing." He assessed her injuries, bruised ribs, possible fracture in her leg, but no arterial bleeding. Using his belt as a tourniquet and a makeshift splint from branches, he stabilized her. But the ground shifted again, a fresh rumble echoing from above. Rocks began to tumble. "We have to move now," Alex yelled. With adrenaline surging, he hoisted her over his shoulder in a fireman's carry, ignoring the protest of his old injuries. Pain shot through his back, a reminder of the metal pins holding him together, but he pushed on. Step by agonizing step, he climbed back up the slope, Elena's weight a burning burden. Halfway up, a boulder loosened and hurtled toward them. Alex dove sideways, shielding her with his body as it grazed past, tearing his jacket and drawing blood from his arm. They made it to the truck just as another wave of mud slid down. Lily unlocked the door, her face pale with worry. "Daddy, are you okay?" "I'm fine, baby, help me get her in." Together, they eased Elena into the back seat. As Alex drove toward the nearest hospital, 20 miles away through the storm, Elena stirred, her eyes fluttering open. She stared at him in the rearview mirror, something like recognition dawning amid the pain. You look familiar," she murmured. "Have we met?" Alex's heart skipped. Probably not. Small world, though, but doubt crept in. Her face, those sharp cheekbones, the determined set of her jaw, it was her. His Elena, the one he'd mourned for years. The drive was a gauntlet of challenges. Flooded roads forced detours, and Elena's condition worsened. She slipped in and out of consciousness, muttering about a search, about finding someone lost. Alex radioed ahead to the hospital, but the storm had knocked out cell service halfway. Lily, sensing the tension, held Elena's hand. "It's gonna be okay, lady. My daddy's a hero. He saves people all the time." At the hospital, doctors rushed Elena into surgery for her fractured leg. Alex paced the waiting room, Lily asleep on his lap, his mind racing. How could it be her? He'd seen the obituary, attended the empty casket funeral. Or had he? Grief had blurred those days. Hours later, a nurse approached. "She's asking for you. Says you're the one who saved her." Alex entered the room, his breath catching. Elena sat up, bandaged but alert, her CEO poise returning. She was stunning, even in a hospital gown, poised, powerful, the kind of woman who commanded boardrooms. "Alex Thompson," she said softly, tears glistening. "It is you. I've been searching for you for 10 years. He sank into the chair, the world tilting. "Elena, how? They told me you died in the crash." She reached for his hand, her touch electric after all these years. "I almost did. Coma for months. When I woke, my family said you'd moved on, that it was best to let go. But I never believed it. I hired investigators, scoured records. I built my company, Vargas Tech, from nothing, but every success felt hollow without closure. I came to this town because a tip led me here. And then the landslide." Flashbacks washed over them both. College days, stolen kisses under starry skies. The proposal on a rainy night much like this one, a simple ring he'd saved months for. The accident that tore it all apart. Alex confessed his side. The survivor's guilt, meeting Sarah in therapy, building a family only to lose her to illness. "Lily, she's my everything now. I thought I'd lost you forever." Elena wiped her eyes. "I never married, never could move on. And now, you've saved me again." But challenges loomed. Alex's life was rooted in the mountains, simple, grounded, far from Elena's high-stakes world in the city. Doubt crept in. Could they bridge the gap? Elena worried about uprooting Lily, about the media frenzy that would follow once her story hit the news. "I'm a CEO, Alex. Paparazzi, board, meetings, it's not the life you deserve." And then there was the emotional scar tissue. Alex feared opening his heart again, risking loss. "I've buried too many people I love," he admitted one night, as they talked in her hospital room while Lily drew pictures nearby. Yet, resolution came in quiet moments. Lily bonded with Elena instantly, sharing stories of her mom and asking about Elena's fancy job. "You make computers. Cool. Daddy fixes trees." Elena, touched by the girl's innocence, saw the family she'd always dreamed of. She offered Alex a partnership, using her tech to enhance park conservation, blending their worlds. A week later, discharged and healing, Elena faced her board via video call from Alex's cozy cabin. "I'm taking a sabbatical," she declared. "Personal reasons." Whispers of scandal rippled, but she stood firm, her resolve unbreakable. The turning point came during a family hike, Elena's first on crutches. As they reached a overlook, the sun breaking through clouds, Alex knelt, pulling out the old ring he'd kept hidden. "Elena, life tried to bury us once. But here we are. Will you marry me, again?" Tears streaming, she nodded. "Yes. 1,000 times yes." Their story spread like wildfire. The single dad hero and the CEO survivor, reunited by fate. But beyond the headlines, it was the quiet victories that mattered. Lily gaining a mom, Alex rediscovering joy, Elena finding purpose beyond power. In the end, as they stood together watching Lily play in the yard, Alex whispered, "We were lost, but we found our way back." Elena smiled. Love doesn't die in the rubble. It rises from it. Their tale inspires. No matter how deep the landslide of life buries you, courage and connection can pull you free. Second chances aren't given, they're seized. And sometimes, the person saving you is the one you've been saving a place for all along.